Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. The name Johnny Depp is associated with memorable figures such as Captain Edward Scissorhands and Jack Sparrow more recently. The eccentric Mad Hatter has more than a Hollywood celebrity, but behind the iconic roles of fans and red carpet Depp's life has witnessed its fair share of admiration. Of fluctuations in the past few years, his individual hardships and court cases have assumed a central role, shifting the switch his attention from his acting to his intents. Today's highly publicized conflicts are examining in detail Depp's own admissions, his contemplations as he faces the most difficult realities of his existence, from his turbulent union with Amber and Heard to his devastating legal struggle and the unpleasant emotion of relinquishing roles that described his professional background. In this video, tell us what Johnny thinks about love, sorrow, and the costs associated with living in his viral mega Pint will be the center of attention. Moment that made admirers chuckle, and questioning whether they actually know the man. In addition to the character's backstory, Depp's continuous financial difficulties, path to recovery, and his intentions for an thrilling return to Hollywood through anything. We'll see how Johnny chooses up the fragments, discovering fresh vigor and reconstructing his life with a steadfast dedication to his craft and his fans. Watch this space as we reveal who Johnny really is, Depp, and see how this legendary figure in Hollywood is establishing his legacy according to his own wishes. Let's start with the admission now that astonished everyone, including Dr. Kipper. True, I'm beginning to realize that her ambition is much more powerful than yes, it is her purported affections for me, does not imply that my finger was actually cut away after discovering, at the age of 12, the only item that provided me with a peace, which is playing the guitar, which is highly unusual. Didn't I begin deleting numbers when he was 13, according to the wording? And now misheard the importance of the objection. What's the significance when you're feeling anxious, can we? She was attempting to persuade you to give up drugs, but let's take a Depp's startling. Recently, Johnny Depp made a confession, came up with an astounding revelation. Both critics and admirers agree with this admission, provides insight into his personal life as a unique look into the challenges. He has been avoiding the limelight for a renowned actor who has played classic roles, and greater than life's presence during this time of vulnerability is unexpected, intensely inviting others to see Depp as a person as well as a celebrity. When faced with genuine obstacles, Depp's candor is essential to comprehending how the impact of his personal life on his mental public perception and health throughout time. His acknowledgement highlights the emotional weight that he has carried, which has only gotten heavier as a result of public criticism and unpleasant encounters. During this time marks a sea change in his life, offering us a fresh viewpoint on the performer. This revelation goes beyond the past, it's influencing his movement. Moving ahead. So let's begin by reflecting on the romance that outlined and almost ruined his own existence and Johnny's career. Love and heartbreak, along with Amber's love. Mr. Depp, have you ever been physically? Never have you ever attacked Miss Heard? Never sexually assaulted M. Heard? Not at all. What you've lost as outcome of M. Heard producing these accusations made against you are everything. When the accusations began, when the claims were swiftly circulating the globe, informing others that I was, Menace Johnny's cocaine-fueled intoxication. The relationship between Depp and Amber Heard started as a brief romance that began in 2011. Time. The Rum Diary was being filmed, and shortly sufficient that they were inseparable from. There was no denying their chemistry, and people were enthralled with their romance. But as time passed, their romance deteriorated, ultimately resulting in a turbulent marriage that would ultimately turn into a media spectacle. From the beginnings of romance to a relationship highs and a bitter breakup, and lows gained notoriety for their marriage, seeming to be failing as soon as it started, charges were made, and the pair found themselves in a vicious cycle of public scrutiny and the demands of celebrity, and intensely private disputes transpired on a stage that is highly visible, leaving they revealed their breakup to the world, become more than just a personal emblem. Some contemporary celebrity hardships, their love goes from one headline to the next. story evolved into a warning about what might occur when love and unforgiving floodlight glare the consequences of living under such scrutiny was intense, leading to Depp's personal battles with celebrity life in the highlight. Johnny Depp's hardships. Life has been on exhibit ever since. He has been adored since his breakthrough role. Hollywood star, but fame also came with it difficulties for which he wasn't always ready. Depp acknowledged that the cost of scrutiny and attention has been high. On him specifically, during the challenging year following his divorce, he had to live under a microscope. Continuous examination of his every move by the media shift. The importance of the media in his personal life, particularly when he publicly split, only made his problems worse. Tabloids and social media was quick to adopt. Depp frequently felt misunderstood by sides and misinterpreted by the stories that were told. For someone who appreciates his imposing privacy on such a public spectacle, exacerbated his own suffering. 4. The spotlight's depth might be agile-edged blade that brought him success. It also revealed his most moments of vulnerability to the outside world. In the middle of all, he talked openly about the agony of divorce, showing how deeply the encounter affected him at a deeper level. Depp discusses the suffering of separation moment. Johnny Depp revealed his separation from the Amber Heard he owned, the extent of his emotional difficulties, explaining how difficult and uncomfortable the split was for him, not for anyone else. Not only destroyed his union, but it also had a significant influence on his thinking. Depp's health candidly discussed the heartbreak, stating that he was pushed to his limits by experience, emotionally coping with his death. Marriage was challenging enough, but moving through it made it even more visible. Challenging. He acknowledged that it had an impact on his capacity for coping, and he discovered, negotiating an emotional maelstrom, that he hadn't realized how much pressure there was. Enormous. And occasionally it felt. Depp's sadness was so intense that it was intensified by the attention of the public on him, which made recovery even more difficult. In spite of Depp found strategies to deal with these difficulties. He relied on the trust of his closest pals, advisors and supporters of his. By telling his story, he was able to connect with people who might have experienced. He was reminded by the same anguish that he wasn't alone. His struggle through this in public pain also brought about the notorious courtroom fight that would reveal additional details on the tale. The tumultuous courtroom drama, music. Depp's court case against Amber Heard became among the most discussed in recent times. Courtroom plays Have a Trial revealed startling information from all sides, presenting a nuanced image of their turbulent partnership, allegations of treachery, abuse, and the courtroom was rife with trickery, leaving the general people in disbelief over the discoveries that surfaced. In every detail was examined by the media, contributing to the Depp's reactions to the drama. Accusations revealed his unfiltered feelings. With resolve to get his name cleared, he maintained that he was innocent, denying assertions and maintaining his position on the narrative. The general public was enthralled with the dramatic scenario unfolding, each revelation contributing to the question of what actually transpired between. For them, the trial marked a sea change, not just for Depp's profession, but also for his private life. In addition to the public observed how they formed views, and Depp's standing was formed by each courtroom moment following. The dust cleared on speculation over his personal life was still being discussed, but Depp thought it was time to speak to them, addressing rumors once and for all. The facts regarding Depp's personal difficulties throughout the years, rumors regarding Johnny Depp's substance abuse issues, mistreatment, and his turbulent way of existence widely disseminated. In opposition to these head-on charges, Depp made a daring move. By disclosing the difficulties he's encountered, he did not avoid admitting his errors, but instead utilized this as a chance to establish the record straight. Depp has acknowledged facing conflicts that put his resiliency. However, he stressed that he is not defined by his challenges. We are all our problems, and I'm no exception. Declared that clearing up these rumors permitted him to recover his story by reclaiming authority from a media environment that frequently presented him in an unjust manner. Vulnerability when discussing these difficulties made him appear more than a Hollywood celebrity. Fans were deeply moved by this candor, even additional since they noticed a part of him that was in one of the trials. Relatable. Depp's humor shone at the lighter times. through causing a moment to go viral involving an enormous glass of wine that required social media platforms by storm, the me-app Pint that went viral. A scene in a courtroom full of tension, a sudden incident caused a humorous addition to Johnny Depp's lawsuit throughout the proceedings. Depp's reference to an enormous glass of wine when going viral, turning into an instant meme and generating amusement via social media. People were captivated and entertained by the term, and supporters made it a humorous rallying cry in favor of. This time, he did more than simply entertain that it altered the public's perception. It revealed a side of Depp that able to make fun of himself. Even in a serious circumstance, Depp's response to the expression showed his tenacity and understanding of humor that lets viewers see a more relatable. He has a humorous and serene side. The response was a welcome change. In a trial that was otherwise intense, the Pint came to represent Depp's perseverance and his capacity to maintain his calm under pressure, which was also beneficial. Make him more relatable by reminding them that even in difficult times, he was still able to locate little flashes of humor. But the trial was more than simply emotional upheaval, had a monetary price as well. The actual cost of financial losses, divorce. Everyone is simply enjoying themselves. Time, typical things. So I simply grinned and joked about how the caravan was trashed, so we had to get the manager, who began with enraged that Johnny had destroyed the divorce affected more than just Johnny. Depp's private life was impacted by largely covers legal fee settlements and missed chances, swiftly resulting in a financial burden that negatively impacted his fortune in the courtroom drama, and public scrutiny not only harmed his reputation, but coupled with quantifiable actual losses, the financial difficulties did not stop with the divorce, court cases, and media. He was less beautiful because of the attention, choice for prominent positions lowering, his earnings and abandoning him to retrieve. The toll from the pieces wasn't just, he acknowledged that it was financial in nature. Depp was also forced to face a new world, rebuilding his finances' steadiness right out of the gate. In spite of these obstacles, Depp persisted in continue, even when the losses were significant. They merely made his decide to get well on a personal level and professionally, but the effect on finances went beyond his money and had an impact on his career at one of his highest costs. Jack Sparrow's cherished roles in Pirates of the impact of the Caribbean. Losing Jack Sparrow on has one of the most agonizing careers effects of Johnny Depp's tumultuous years. He lost his iconic position as Pirates of the Caribbean's Jack Sparrow. The Jack Sparrow wasn't as simple as Depp's character was a component of him. Introduced the endearing, eccentric pirate to life in ways that those who watched loved, and in interviews, he even claimed that he would have been happy to keep playing Jack. Losing this role for good felt like it hurts to lose a bit of himself. A reminder of how much his audience challenges have affected his career. Life. His divorce's after effects, and due to legal disputes, Disney fired him. In later Pirates flicks, Depp was heartbroken, and a lot of admirers shared that sentiment, thinking that his depiction of Jack, this setback, was irreplaceable for Sparrow, heightened his feelings of grief upon witnessing how his personal hardships were deeply impacting his professional life. Despite the disappointment, Depp maintained his optimism that his relationship with his fans could preserve Jack Sparrow's legacy in some way. Jack's passing served as a wake-up call for Depp regarding the brittleness of fame, which it functioned as a strong incentive for him to assert authority over his life and profession. Expertise solely in UK courts strengthened his resolve to clear his name and get back on track. Depp's lengthy legal struggle in the UK. Johnny in the UK. Depp's defamation action was a challenging period in his life, with the assault that damages his reputation, and he filed a lawsuit against a British Leals newspaper after it classified him as an abuser, a charge he strongly rejected. The case that gained international attention. Focus on each and every aspect of his court scrutiny of private life. Sadly for Depp, the judge's decision against him, which left him feeling irritated. And despite the result, Depp was disappointed, refused to let the loss to define him. He concentrated on determining how to recover and proceed, directing his energy towards reconstructing his life and his path. As he labored, healing became his top priority. To abandon the drama in the courtroom, Depp's path to recovery, and tranquilly following years of both private and public conflicts. Difficulties. Johnny Depp started to concentrate on achieving inner tranquility. The cost of the court cases, media attention, and individual. The losses had been tremendous, and he understood that he needed to start setting priorities. Depp was transparent about his own health, regarding the significance of healing, describing how he was dedicated to leaving the agony behind and moving on with a fresh sense of direction. Depp looked to the people for solace, who encouraged him and listened to his passions. That had been his soul's constant fuel, including listening to classical music and spending time he understood with friends and family. That recovery wouldn't occur right away. However, he accepted every day as a step. Sometimes getting closer to healing is about taking each day as it comes. He should this healing path and become into his route to liberty, which enables him to construct his life using this newly discovered concentrate. On the tranquility, Depp felt prepared to look. Looking ahead, he started organizing a possible return, eager to go back to the job he enjoyed, but with a fresh, his aim and outlook were clear. It wouldn't be easy going forward, but he was committed to starting over, preparing for our return with his eyes focused on the future. Johnny Depp began sketching out. When he returned to Hollywood, he took the time required for his recovery, and he was prepared to think about new positions that would display his skills and make the world aware of his special skills. Depp said his enthusiasm on the potential for going back to the screen, not only to captivate crowds, but to restore his legacy with positions that were actually important. As Depp proceeded with his plans, aware that he would not have been able to make it without his supporters, he was inspired by unflinching support, encouraging him to remain loyal to himself and continue to advance, and in a sincere note, in which he thanked them for supporting him during his most difficult moments. Depp's gratitude to his supporters during Johnny Depp's fans' troubles stayed by his side and showed him affection and devotion that he greatly valued. He frequently admitted that his followers had been his pillar of support and encouragement, even when it looked like everything was against him. Depp conveyed his sincere appreciation to his supporters' understanding of how his strength had come from faith in himself. To continue with their support, Depp was able to initiate the recovery procedure, and anticipate a new chapter he wanted his followers to be aware of. Without them, he couldn't have made it, and he pledged to keep up his diligent work, to honor them by considering he shared the things he learnt along the way. From his difficulties, particularly in romantic relationships, and trusts teachings on love, and have faith in what Johnny Depp has taught you, teaching him important lessons about love and trust, and he was forthright about the knowledge he benefited from his connection, and it's in the aftermath. He realized that trust and love can be difficult, is delicate, particularly when life is experienced. In the public eye, his union with. He had learnt from his divorce that connections require care and integrity, but also that there are instances when letting go is essential. For these reflections on self-improvement, not only Depp's recovery was aided by viewpoint on what was most important as he looked to the future. He wished to adopt a more lucid outlook on life and relationships, awareness of his principles, with the goal of establish more wholesome connections, and a more optimistic. Depp's aspirations for a new future. The future with an invigorated feeling of Johnny D is prepared to begin a next phase that focuses on repairing his life and profession following prolonged public examination and personal suffering. He is resolved to come out stronger, smarter, and more realistic. Depp's aspirations for the future involve seeking fulfilling positions that demonstrate his development and dedication time for hobbies and interests. Like music and art, we appreciate your participation in examining Johnny Depp's outstanding, transitioning from sadness to optimism tale is evidence of tenacity. If this glimpse inside Depp's life was enjoyable, remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment below and check back soon. Stay tuned for more motivational Hollywood tales. Stay tuned as we reveal who Johnny Depp and examine the ways in which this Hollywood legend is establishing his legacy now according to his own terms. Let's start by admitting that startled the world.